Good late night hello to everybody. I know it's very late. Usually don't record at midnight on the West Coast, but I was out on a date earlier tonight. Had a wonderful holiday weekend. I hope everybody who's not a Red Hat Rube had a great holiday weekend. I enjoyed a really great Thanksgiving Day. Had a great holiday weekend. Watched movies all day Friday. Watched Arsenic and Old Lace with Cary Grant and Peter Lorre, and man, what a funny movie! What a great movie! And we saw went to the city today. I can't believe I've lived here this long, lived here decades, and the very first time was today. I went to the Herbst Theater. What a great room! Saw Lucy Darling, funny act. My wife found her on YouTube, liked her. She bought a couple of tickets, decided to make it a date night. Hit the show early matinee show, and then head up for dinner to a great restaurant in the city. And one of my favorites restaurants in the Bay Area. She was hilarious and had a really fun magician trick. So, hey, Rayleigh, thank you for joining. Um, so just had a great weekend, had a great day today. Was hanging out and I started to do, my normal sit down and see what's going on in the world. And I ran into something and I think there's several issues that are kind of interplaying right now that are the direct reason why not just Marjorie Taylor Greene, who announced she's bailing January 5th. And yes, she is going to resign after her vesting period because I'm sure she wants the money she put into the federal retirement system, just the way the federal retirement system works. Okay, I talked about that in the last video. Don't get too caught up about her collecting her retirement. Okay, because it's the same retirement system that U.S. Marshals are in, the civilians who work, with the military police or work, at the weapons lab with the research arms in the Army. They're all in the same retirement system. Okay, she's got a federal job. I don't like it. You don't like it, I'm sure. But she got a paycheck. She not donate, but contributed into the system, and voila, they get their retirements. But we have to understand why they are leaving for real. Because one that just went total record scratch on me. This one was like, what? This one I had to stop and like really start opening up some tabs and doing some deep research here. Troy Nellis out of Texas just announced he was leaving. Now, of course, he used the thing they always love to use. I'm going to go home to spend more time with my family. Maybe, but much more likely is Troy is running for the hills. He's saving his own ass. The same way Marjorie Taylor Greene, and from my reading, anywhere from 5 to 8 more GOP members are thinking about, Troy is going to serve out his term. Marjorie Taylor Greene is leaving on January 1st. So I don't know which ones of these additional ones that many outlets are reporting, and some people have already, done their pre-leak. They talked off the record to a reporter who said, "Yeah, I'm going to bounce. I'm getting out of here." Okay, whether they leave right away or whether they leave at the end of the term, the reasons are all the same. They're trying to save their own skin. Okay, and this one tonight, it took me a few minutes to figure out because Troy Nellis doesn't like Trump. He is a complete disciple to Trump and MAGA. Trump can do no wrong. MAGA can do no wrong. He's in for a penny. He's in for a pound. Okay. This guy is a true believer who will drink an entire liter of the grape Flavor Aid and then ask for another liter. That's how MAGA this guy is. He just out of the blue until you look at the details, it seems very out of the blue. But when you look in the details, there's something big going on in the background here. Now, the biggest thing personally for Troy Nellis is he, he needs to get the hell out of the town, even though he is completely supported by his district. Um, the districts he's from was at plus 24R in 2024. Okay, so the GOP ain't losing that seat. In fact, he's already endorsed his brother Trevor, his identical twin, and another MAGA idiot, okay, another full-blown nationalist drooler as his replacement. And that guy will probably get voted in, given the district. It's hard to breach. I mean, the special elections this year have been a total surprise. The shift in polling in Florida, total surprise. I knew there was going to be some shift, but you're seeing Florida 1 and Florida 17. You're seeing double-digit shifts away from the far right. Okay, the good direction. So, yeah, he's ultra MAGA. He's from an ultra MAGA district. He's got nearly a guaranteed reelection. So, why is he bouncing? Everybody loves him. He's a 57-year-old ex-sheriff. Okay, he's their homeboy back in his district. So why the hell is he bouncing? Well, you got to go back and you got to read some internal dirty laundry of Congress. This guy, not the. I'm surrounded by pillows here. I'm in pain tonight because of my recovery. I'm trying to boost up my abdomen and my rib cage, so I'm not so much in pain. Um, the scotch helps. Um, Back in 2024, just last year, Troy ended up in the House Ethics Committee, and what he did. Now, let me say this really. If he wasn't in Congress and Congress didn't protect their own in their little circle of self-corruption, self-protectionism coming into corruption, um, Troy would have already been booked. He'd have already been indicted. He'd already been arrested. He'd have been booked. He'd have had his prelim hearing. That would already happen. This dude shaved 30 grand out of his campaign funds and used it to pay his personal bills. And the ethics committee didn't close the case. You don't have to know calculus to figure out what's next. This boy did some serious felony shit with his money out of his campaign. Okay? In the dumbest of way. This fucking idiot created a limited liability corporation, an LLC, and used his home address as the business address, then rented property basically from himself using campaign funds. Now, the amount turned out to be, according to the House Committee website, $30,319.20 in payments from 2019 to 2022, labeled as rent or office rent to Liberty 1776 LLC. You see how the white nationalists all love their liberty and all their patriotic symbolism? And they use it so they can commit crimes? I was going to make a point about patriotism in an upcoming video. Like, I have to go find my sweatshirt in the closet. It's a very patriotic sweatshirt. My team chief, Dano, gave it to me for my birthday. Still have it all these years later. It's the American blue. It says American red letters with stars and a flag. And I used to wear it all the time. And people used to tell me, wow, that's a patriotic sweatshirt. And I go, yeah, I'm proud I'm served. I'm proud of the people I served with in the military police and in Army CID. Okay, and my CID team chief, one of the best agents of all time, um, one of the original tough boys from the Vietnam khaki mafia days. He's the one that gave it to me. So yeah, I still consider myself a super patriotic person. I just don't wear that sweatshirt anymore because I don't want you to be confuse me for an idiotic Trump supporter who only wear the patriotic stuff as performance art. Okay. So he created his Liberty 1776 LLC, used his home address. Dumbest thing. You know how cheap a PO box is? Sorry, my internet connection in Australia keeps dropping out. Okay, I'll upload the video, Raylene, and if you want to see it later, you can definitely see it. I'll make sure I post this one. Okay. Hope your connection gets better. um. Oh yeah, it's that time there. um. So what happened and how he got caught by the ethics committee is love your step sack. Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I love all the thank yous and the support and the subscriptions. I really super appreciate it. My Substack, I've already made the decision. It's always going to be free. I'm not gonna put a paywall up on anything. Um, if you want to throw me a couple of dollars, buy me a beer, throw in a monthly $5 subscription. That's all good, but not required. I'm not trying to be an influencer trying to make money here. I want to speak my piece and inform people, and I want you to put that into your calculus and hopefully move forward and make good decisions now that you have better information. So definitely make sure I'll get this video up for you. So yeah, back to this guy. He did Liberty 1776, which was his own company at his own house, and he pretended he was paying somebody else because it's directly illegal to use campaign funds for personal use. Okay, and a lot of people have gotten caught but doing this over the years in Congress. It's patently illegal. Okay. And since he went through all these machinations to be able to rent to himself from somebody else's money, OPM, other people's money. Um, to me, as a retired cop, this is just guilty as fuck. This guy knew exactly what he was doing. So if I'm looking at this investigation, I'm thinking like, wow, this guy set himself up because that's what it sounds like. That's what it investigatively sounds like. I'm not convicting him of anything. That's the job of the judge or the jury. But yeah, it looks like he really tried to line his own pockets with campaign funds. So December 11th of 2023, he had the case. Troy had his case formally sent over to the House Ethics Committee, where they found there was probable cause that he converted campaign funds for personal use and then failed to disclose the financial inflow. And I'm wondering, did you pay the taxes on the money you took from your campaign? Because that's income. Because even if you get your money unlawfully or through fraud, it's still income according to the IRS. I told y'all about that doing the search warrants back in the day. When it was a big organization and we knew a lot of people were involved, yeah, we brought the IRS too, along with everybody else. Why? Because if they're making money and they didn't report it on their taxes, guess who's going to come after them after the district attorney or the state attorney or the federal prosecutor? It's going to be the IRS. Okay. So, yeah, he made $30,000 by paying himself. And that's a good question. Did he pay his taxes on it? Um, so he had the case referred in December 2023. March 26, 2024, the ethics committee announced that Niels would be under investigation and extended the review. This is the standard public, we're looking into it announcement by the ethics committee. Very, very perform thing that happens when they start these. May 10th of 2024, the leadership of the ethics committee issued a statement saying they're conducting a further review under Rule 18A that will gather more information and will not comment further until the review is complete. And Niels submitted his written response. Now, this is the interesting part. There is no public record, and I looked. There's no public record that the ethics committee has closed the case. They haven't issued a reprimand or done any other formal sanction. Nor have they referred this to the DOJ, the Department of Justice. And like I said, he shaved fucking 30 grand off his campaign funds, put it in his own pocket. Okay. Then he didn't report it correctly. Then he didn't do this. Then he didn't do that. There's a whole bunch of requirements here. So, under 52 USC section 30114 subsection B, campaign funds may not be converted to personal use. Just look that up. Knowingly doing it, like it's not an honest accounting error. Like, oh, I meant to take it out of that account. My sister-in-law who's been running the payment system for us in the campaign, she took it out of the wrong account. Okay, my bad. We did it. It wasn't intentional. Sorry. What do we have to do to make this good? Okay, this doesn't sound like one of those. Those have happened. Those honest mistakes have happened before. Okay, I don't think this is one of them. Okay. But if he knowingly did it, then you run afoul of all sorts of shit under Title 18, like false statements, wire fraud, conspiracy, misappropriation of programs receiving federal funds. Because remember, you get matching dollars from campaign funds. If you raise so much, the government matches your funding. So that money becomes public money real quick. Yeah. So we're talking like, look, anything over $7,000 can be charged as a felony, according to my research. $7,000 to $10,000, you're going to get like plea deals, probation, but you're going to get a felony conviction because what you did was big money. Okay. The line rough estimate sentencing guidelines, you're looking at about 20, 21 grand, and you're going to start looking at some prison time. He did 30. Okay. The Federal Election Committee itself explicitly says that any payment from the campaign to a business you own is automatically presumed suspect unless you can prove there was fair market value, actual services were rendered, and there was no personal enrichment. Okay. I think when you set up your fake patriotic LLC at your home address, I think that whole purpose, I think that speaks to some of the possible motivation, the criminal motivation here. Okay. The purpose was to enrich himself. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, as we know, Congress likes to play by a slightly set of different rules to protect their own. It's kind of shameful because you need to keep your own house clean. That's why I've often said, talking with people, like they go, "Whoa, I heard that we had this bad attorney that in the county that was all in trouble for doing this, that, and the other thing." I'm going, yeah. So there's state bar. The state bar should be taking action. You can get mad at him, of course you should be, because he's doing wrong things. But if you're mad that he's still a lawyer, that's not his fault. That's the state bar. The same problem in Congress. Okay. You have a bad representative or a bad senator, they should be brought in front of the ethics committee. If they did something criminal, they should be referred to the DOJ. Just because you got elected to political office isn't a get out of jail free card. Okay. And why is Troy leaving Congress? Because he knows he doesn't have a get out of jail free card. This is something like Hegseth and Bondi haven't figured out yet. Like, I literally don't think that Pam Bondi understands that Nixon did not go to prison. His attorney general did. Get it? I don't think she understands that. Look how many people got thrown under the bus for Iran-Contra to save Reagan's ass. Just saying. So, the problem is that Congress very, very rarely refers to the DOJ for one of their own members doing something. And they really have to wait till it gets like absurd before they'll refer. Like, if people remember Duncan Hunter, the Republican in California, he got pinched for doing the same misuse of campaign funds, except he did it a lot bigger. He did it well over $250,000. Uh, he entered a guilty plea, and of course, dear leader porn star Humper immediately pardoned him. You know, George Santos, Republican New York. I mean, that guy was a walking crime spree. One person did more freaking crime than most street gangs do in a decade. Um, well, you notice that there's been no commentation or no interaction. Jesse Jackson Jr., when he was elected as a Democrat from Illinois, he misused 750,000. He went to prison for 30 months. Okay, when you're talking what Troy did with 30 grand, you're talking clear felony territory here. Um, and why it matters in Nellis's sudden retirement: money paid to his own LLC. The LLC is tied to his home address. There's no disclosure of the LLC or the income, according to my research. No paperwork showing what the Federal Election Commission requires by default. Were you providing a fair market rent and fair market services? Because that used to be the old the old felony con in politics. Is not only do you ingratiate yourself, but you do it at ridiculous prices. You don't pay yourself the $10,000 a month for the office rent. You pay yourself $100,000 a month in the office rent, and walk away with that big cash money. Okay. And this is where he get where Troy is really screwed. We're talking repetitive payments over the years. We're talking 3 years of payments. We have behavior. We have consistent behavior to fulfill criminal fraud, and potentially a whole list of other shit under Title 18. And what he's guilty of is conversion. You can't take property of one place and make it your own. That's um, the big rich family in New York City a couple years back got caught doing that. They started buying like super high end art, you know, $1 million per painting art. Okay. Oh, this is to decorate the corporate offices. All the paintings are in their personal vaults or at their apartments. And guess what happened to them when the FBI found out where all the paintings were? They got arrested for conversion. Okay. And they went down hard. So the whole family time spiel is bullshit. Okay. He's got a sitting ethics charges that if he did what is being suspected he did, and using prior criminal acts of politicians as the example, he could be referred to DOJ for multiple felonies. He could see an IRS audit where the IRS literally drives a dump truck up his butt. They're going to want to see everything and everything for the last 7 years, campaign or personal. And they're going to want to know every time he signed his name as an officer to any legal entity, LLC, S Corp, whatever. And then when they find out what those are, they're going to go through everything of those companies too. Okay. And he knows this. Okay. Why? They threw Jesse Jackson Jr. from Illinois in prison for 30 months for doing it a lot grander than he did it, but it's the same behavior, apparently. Or at least suspected to be the same behavior. Where we have to say, allegedly. Whatever. Yeah, so shaving off $30,000 of your campaign funds, that is not a traffic ticket. Okay. The way the Republicans are collapsing in Congress right now, and the way the special elections have gone in 2025, which I'm sure are going to continue in 2026. You get another election coming up in Tennessee. Tennessee, and the Democrat is walking up the polls right now. And in my thing, hey, if they ain't MAGA, give them a shot. Okay, I'm an independent. I told you all guys that. I don't believe in political parties. Even though I lean heavily libertarian, I don't want anything to do with the Libertarian Party. I consider political parties mostly corrupt and stupid groupthink. You can't, like, these party slates don't make any sense to me. You're telling me everybody in your party agrees with what you just put up as 12 of the biggest items in the country? Bullshit. Okay. It's sort of like utopia projecting. It sucks. But yeah, if this gal wins in Tennessee, she's a Democrat, and she ain't aligned with these crazy motherfuckers, I'm happy. Because at least I can continue the political discussion and some political arguments in the future. Exactly what the nationalists are trying to do under Trump is stop every conversation, and Trump makes all the decisions. Not just for the executive branch, he makes all decisions for everything. Not just in the federal government. He's already telling you that pardon to Georgia, everybody involved in the Georgia election scheme, he's trying to pardon people for state crimes, knowing he has no authority to do it. He's waiting for Chief Justice Roberts to hand him another gift. Because that's how the country's being run. One is being run on social media. What the fuck is that about? Okay. I thought we had a government. No, we have a social media site. Fuck. I said 1, 2. What the hell fuck was I talking about? Um, yeah, he does everything over social media, and then number two, he just wants to exceed his authority in every possible situation. Like when we came home from dinner tonight, sat down and poured a drink, and I turned on Legal Eagle over on YouTube. The great video up of every single crime dear leader porn star Humper or every unconstitutional move he's made just this year. The list is so freaking long, it should horrify every free citizen of this planet, not just Americans. Because, Bangladesh just threw their former leader in prison. Saw that as an Associated Press highlight when I was waiting for the valet. Okay. We seemingly are the only country that can control corruption at the top of the government. France just threw Sarkozy in jail, where he belongs. Israel, sounding like they're getting serious about doing Netanyahu, because Netanyahu just asked the Israeli president for a pardon. Sound familiar? Yeah, we have a terrible time. Brazil threw Bolsonaro in prison 27 years. He got a harsher penalty because Brazilian judiciary found out that Trump wanted to lynch Bolsonaro out of Brazilian custody and take him to the United States because he's being so unjustly treated. Any corrupt motherfucker who's just doing crime out in the open and they're a far right whack job, Trump's 100% with them. The Silk Road guy, Bolsonaro's, Jose Hernandez, the narco state terrorist, former leader of Honduras. Yeah, if they're far right and they're a whack job criminal, Trump loves them. Closest friend and ally. That's why at first I wasn't like, oh my God, he's like definitely in the Epstein list. I know he's a scumbag. I know he's a degenerate. He's always been that way. It's not like I don't like him because of 10 years ago he got elected president. I didn't fucking like the guy in the 80s. I thought he was a complete douchebag back then. How you even considered voting for him? I have no goddamn idea. None. Zero. I have no idea why anybody would go, oh, that's a good idea. Let's make him president. With the track record that asshole had? It's insane. So now he's the biggest gangster in the United States. He's running his own street gang. The street gang's committing murders and crimes and frauds and money laundering and everything every other street gang does. Now they're going to tried to spread his gang into an international gang, including Honduras, Brazil, and anywhere in Hungary, Russia. He is literally carrying water for Putin. His special ambassador for the Ukraine war, Witkoff, is a fucking retarded queasling. I should say fucktarded. Sorry, people get pissed off and use the other word. He's fucktarded. Sorry. Trump just got in trouble with that, using the R word. So, sorry. The reason these people are going to bail, and it's not going to be one or two. You're going to see a long line of people literally run for the frickin' door. Why? Some of them have shit like this hanging over their head. Most of the others, they just don't want to be there when the ship goes down. Because the ship is sinking. There's simply no doubts about that. I mean, when Don Bacon in Congress, in the House, almost resigned on the spot over the bad Ukraine negotiation, which was just simply Witkoff literally carrying the briefcase for Putin. Okay. Bacon almost resigned on the spot. No waiting to January 5th. No waiting for the end of term. He almost quit right then and there. He was so upset about the alleged peace deal, which is not a peace deal. When you sell out an ally, it's not a peace deal. In fact, there's no deals. Let's be completely real about what's going on. You can't have like trade deals if there are no trade teams. Okay. You don't send one guy to Japan and negotiate a trade deal. It's an entire team that goes to Japan to do the trade deal. Okay. Well, something's going on. So yeah, you have, you know, fake peace deals that are just sellouts to ingratiate Putin. You have fake announcements of trade deals that aren't even frameworks. Like a couple of them are like frameworks, like kind of at best, if you kind of stretch out that meaning. But you're not going to get a trade deal unless you have a trade negotiation team. Okay. What goes into a trade deal is a huge list of things. It's not just one guy sitting at the table going, okay, if you do exactly what we want, we'll take off this horrible tariff that um, we imposed on your country without any authority. Because remember, all the reciprocal tariffs that Trump does, he doesn't have the authority to do it. And that became pretty clear in the audio recordings to the tariff case at the Supreme Court. Like, I'm still giggling about Gorish. When a when a Supreme Court justice has to ask the Solicitor General multiple times, like what the definition of what's the definition of a simple word like revenue is? Who has the authorization and the authority under the U.S. Constitution to raise revenue? Is it the President of the United States? No. Madison said that. It's very clear. I'm sure if you go look at Hamilton and Jefferson and a bunch of others, they all say it's very clear. You don't leave the purse with the king. Because as they knew from feudal Europe, we all left to come here. Okay. A bad king likes to spend the money. And like the crazy kings will spend themselves into bankruptcy. Okay. That was completely understood by the founding fathers. That's why the people's house holds the purse strings, not the president. So like even the Supreme Court was like, other than Thomas, of course, because he's just a God damn suck up. Oh, what a loser. A black man who sucks up to white nationalists and is married to a Nazi. Horrible. But anybody but Thomas was not buying it at the Supreme Court. They're like, no, I'm sorry, do you not understand what the word revenue means? Simple word. So he's going to lose the tariff case at the Supreme Court. It's going to be like 7-2. I said that the other day. If it's not 6-3, 7-2, I'll be shocked because it didn't sound like anybody but one was buying any of it. Like this was a non-starter. They fell as hard as they did when they brought the Texas gun case of the felon in custody who shot at the witnesses and the RPs to a crime, and they wanted to use him as the example how the government takes gun rights away from people. Nobody was buying it. It was that level of falling flat in front of the court. So his tariffs don't have any meat and potatoes behind it. There's nothing there. He's going to get through an entire half of a presidential term without being able to accomplish shit other than writing fantasy executive orders that are getting thrown out left and right. Okay. And when the Supreme Court hits him this time, it's going to hurt. Okay. So that's probably why talk about a couple of things about the holiday weekend here. One is no, the Black Friday and the Digital Monday boycotts don't seem to be working at all. And I tried to explain why in a previous video. We just don't have the purchasing power. Okay. You not buying a board game at Target or not buying a onesie for your sister's kid or da 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 da. Yeah, that's technically a boycott, but that doesn't offset a wealthier person in the top quintile or the top toward the top 1% of going out and buying a Lexus or going out and buying not just a HD TV, but top of the line HD TV, 85 inches, 4K, micro LED, nano LED, whatever it is, $6,000. So when you look at the way the quintiles spend money from the top quintile, the very richest people, all the way down to the poorest people, the bottom quintile, we just don't spend money the same. So, would I liked Amazon and Target to take a head and Walmart just to give them a little wake up slap upside the head economically? Yeah, I think it's a great way to peacefully protest. I don't disagree with the idea of a boycott. I'm just saying it's not practical mathematically. And all I do for a living is data engineering. So if the math doesn't work out, I can't believe it. Or all my search and data and code is wrong. And that sucks when you work for days trying to get a data engineering problem done and the answer is wrong. I mean, you got to figure out what the answer should be, yeah, and unfortunately the math doesn't work out with the boycott. And the problem is boycotts don't fix it. Fixing the tax code will fix this. Regulating corporations better will fix these things. Okay. Um, making stock buybacks illegal. That will do wonders. Okay. Treating a dollar as a dollar for taxation purposes. That would be a huge fix. Unfortunately, boycotts not so much. Okay. Yeah, Target got slapped up the head a little bit, because they went all anti, DEI. I didn't really have a problem with DEI. It's just there's other people that exist other than the whitest of folks like me, the Irish. Except being Irish, we have a problem. We're so white, we make other white people nervous. Like I've literally been told at the pool, like, "What's wrong with you?" Because like my legs are so white. Like people think I have a disease or a disorder or something. I'm so pale. My daughter, unfortunately, she's even paler than I am. She didn't get her mother's beautiful Mediterranean skin. She got mine. Sorry. But yeah, so the boycotts, that's not going to work. I didn't buy anything on Black Friday. There's stuff in my shopping cart I could have bought. I just didn't do it for whatever reason. The better thing to do and the better thing to get interested in is finding better people to support as candidates. Because unless we fix some structural things, um, the most that we can do, you're not knocking Walmart out of the game because or Amazon out of the game because we all decided not to shop on Black Friday. It would have sucked for their quarterly report, sure. I mean, in the end, not much would have happened. I mean, the one funny protest that that actually will have some meaning, and I did. I actually laughed about this. What was it in Monrovia, down in Southern California? It looked like 100 people showed up, or even more than 100 people showed up at the Home Depot because Home Depot, the guy's the major owner of that. He's a real right winger, loves Trump. So they're all going into Home Depot and buying the discount ice scraper, the promo ice scraper at the near the cash registers for 17 cents. And then immediately going to the return counter and returning it just to be a pain in the ass. It's hilarious. And what was good about it is it's getting a real attention on social media, and it sends the message that bad political alliances have consequences. Because what's the consequence for Home Depot? Well, this protest spreads, and you have a huge chunk of purchases at Home Depot that are exactly 17 cents plus local sales tax. That means your per transaction numbers will plummet. Okay. That won't be something that the CEO or the CFO will want to talk about on Home Depot's quarterly call. Yeah, how much our per transaction numbers fell. Because in retail, it's all about foot traffic, money spent per transaction or visit, and how repetitive are your customers, customer loyalty. That's your racket. Whether you're selling hammers and saws at Home Depot or you're selling steak dinners at a restaurant. Those three factors are what pins up retail. Okay. So the boycott's not going to work. But I did notice this weekend, and oh my God, I saw like 4 videos in a row. And one was a TikToker, somebody reposted. Somehow, because everything else isn't working out, like I said, there's no trade deals. Okay. The anti war president is just about to bomb Venezuela for a war of choice. There's no national security reason to go after Venezuela. None. We're just creating another Iraq. Why? Because we can. That's it. That's the only reason we're doing it. Okay. Because will bombing fishing boats and bombing an airport in Caracas stop cocaine trafficking and fentanyl traffic? No. No. Doesn't even have a prayer to do that. That's not even a possible outcome of military action. Okay. Why he's attacking Venezuela is the Epstein files and the fact that he's in them. A lot. A lot. Oh, and a huge shout out, Michael Cryptodamus here on Substack. Go check out his page. He is converted. I think it was he did it personally. If not, he referred to somebody else's work. I think it was he did it. Reformatted all the Jeffrey Epstein emails from the document dump and made it look like a Gmail site. So you can actually read the emails like you're reading your own Gmail site, and it's really cool. And it has all the breakdowns of the people that were talking on the left hand column. It's really slick, real fun coding project. Uh, but yeah, I did a search, and because I was where was I at the was it printout has a repo of all the documents that were dumped. I think that's the site I was on looking at them, and it has a search engine, plain text search engine, and when I typed in trunk, like 1,000 returns. Okay, so it's not like he's not in them. Now again, the reason leaving Congress, and many more people will leave Congress because they know Trump's in them and they know what's been released so far is just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. If the victims start talking, I already said this, I'll say it again. Victims should go file bankruptcy tomorrow morning, then have a press conference on Tuesday. Couldn't sue me, have $100. The victims start talking. We're talking about a collapse of a major political party in the United States, which isn't good. No political party should have absolute political control. I mean, that's what they're desperately trying to achieve in Trump land, which is wrong. It would be equally wrong to give all the power to the other side. Power without a gauge, power without a debate, always turns evil on you. Okay? And remember, there's right-wing authoritarianism and there's left-wing authoritarianism. Okay? Venezuela, for example, is a left-wing authoritarian system. So with everything going to shit and Congress going out, they got to keep, and this plays into yet another reason more people are going to leave Congress, is now they're dropping social media rumors that don't even make any sense. But it's to feed the red hat rubes exactly what they want to hear, even though it's a complete lie. And I think they know it's a lie. But as long as they feel like they're still in the Mickey Mouse Club, they're good. Rumor this weekend, Trump has magically made taxes go away, income taxes go away. Everybody who makes $120,000 or less per year. That's total bullshit. It's not even remotely true. The House hasn't got a bill that says we're going to change the tax code and eliminate personal income tax for anybody earning less than $120,000. It was not put into a committee. It was not voted on. It was not given unanimous consent in either chamber. It's not a thing. Nor can Trump write an EO, an executive order, and go, I'm eliminating taxes for anybody under $120,000. He literally cannot do that. Again, revenue. Revenue is not controlled by the White House or the president. Not at all. And in my book, the president should shut the fuck up about budgets. You know, there's always a presidential budget now. Why do we even give a rat's ass what the presidential budget is? The budget is not the responsibility of the president. It's the responsibility of the House of Representatives. It's debated and reformed and finalized in the Senate. The Trump or any president can either sign it into law or veto it, and then go back to Congress. And if Congress likes that spending bill, they can override the president. They can override his veto. Okay. So how in living fucking hell, this hell is created by white nationalist morons, do you sit there and go, oh my God, he saved me. I'm sitting in front of my double wide and he saved me. This woman just lauding him on the front porch of her mobile home. We're not going to have to pay taxes anymore. Why do you believe bullshit like this? When I'm saying that doesn't make sense, that's not even in the realm of possibilities in our political sphere. I think we would have half a shot at getting my idea of flat tax passed. Taking the bottom quintile and just rebating them their taxes every month to their PayPal or their checking account or their fintech app, whatever they want. Okay. There's no fucking chance Congress is going to sign on to a program that eliminates income taxes completely for everybody under $120,000. They already believe in fucked up GOP Nazi land that everybody already doesn't pay any taxes. But the fact is, it's the upper wealthy that don't pay any taxes. The working class pays taxes out the goddamn nose everywhere they turn. Okay. They've already come up with this false mantra that it's the working class who pays no taxes and they're the takers. How do you like that reverse logic? Yeah. We are the takers. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Trump's never looked at me and go, here's a $20 billion contract to follow up the $10 billion contract I gave you last week because, we're friends. We're the takers? Fuck off. So it's patently ludicrous for the internet to light up this holiday weekend and go, my taxes will never have to be paid again. Trump has rescued us. Ah! This is why I kind of wish, like religion was real and like figures like Loki were real. We could use some house cleaning. That's what I'm saying. He's literally fleecing the entire country for whatever he can get. He fleeced people. Did you guys ever look at those fucking Trump watches? They're the cheapest. Now, I don't like expensive watches. I could go out and buy one if I wanted one. I have no interest in owning an expensive watch. None. Zero. Okay. There's time on my phone. The phone was expensive enough. I'm good. Okay. But he sold a watch that was claiming to be a luxury watch. I watched a watch collectible guy's into it real big, his hobby, whatever. Rich kid with more money than brains, I guess. He's got a whole dresser drawer set of cabinets full of luxury watches. Okay. And he starts showing his best watches. We're talking 100 grand for a watch. Okay. Trump sells you this shit and it is a knockoff fake luxury watch. Okay. What has exactly dear leader porn star Humper done to you other than try to make money off of you? Oftentimes very unethically. What has he really done for you? They kind of ignore that reality and go, Trump just took all my taxes away for the rest of my life. He's taking care of the working class. How in the fuck do you believe that? We're all suckers and losers. Okay. We're the takers, but he's also going to get rid of our taxes. I mean, the median income is what this year? 86,000. It's gone up since the pandemic, bumped up a little bit. Okay. So you're talking like the majority of wage earners would no longer be taxed federally under income tax. Not at all. You think the right wing, the far right nut job house with clowns like Troy Niles are going to give the takers, the suckers, and the losers a free pass on income tax? How gullible are you? Maybe it's time for some of these people, because I can't talk you out of being stupid. You just have to realize, oh my God, that was stupid. You got to figure it out on your own. Okay. Like, I'm really rooting for people who did put on the red hat, for them to throw their red hats aside and self deprogram. I'm actually rooting for that. I don't wish any harm to anybody, including the red hat rubes. Okay. Because I think a lot of times, like people in cults all over the place, from the Moonies to Scientology to hell, even the Catholic Church. Okay. I'm sorry you got caught up in a cult, but you're in a cult. Your two choices: self deprogram or get professional help. It's the only two places to go. Because he hasn't done actually anything for the working class other than an attempt to destroy us. And that's not hyperbole. Like his whole idea of a 50-year mortgage, I did that video. I went off about it. Go back and look that one up. Listen to it if you like. In short, a 50-year mortgage eliminates home mortgage. Home mortgage is for probably at least the first bottom two quintile, probably splits the third quintile. You're not buying a home, period. End of story, under a 50-year note. Because the whole credit regime is going to have to change, because we're not talking about a section of your adult life. We're talking your entire working adult life. You're going to be tied to this loan note. Okay? The credit requirement's going to change. They're going to drop people. Second thing a 50-year note is going to do is eliminate refinancing at the 12-year sweet spot. Americans like living in homes for average about 12 years. They'll either refinance or they'll move on up, like the Jeffersons. Moving on up to the top. Remember the show. And the other thing that a 50-year mortgage will do is eliminate wealth creation, net worth increases in working families. It will almost eliminate it. And for most people in America, especially my generation, Generation X, most of people's wealth is in their homes. And unfortunately, with half of Gen X right now, they don't have a retirement. They have zero saved for retirement. It's the retirement picture is pretty bleak. So when they talk about getting rid of Social Security, you're talking about poverty like we haven't seen since the Great Depression if they were to get rid of Social Security. Because the generation coming into retirement right now half of them doesn't have any money. Okay. Most of the wealth from the other half of Gen Xers, that comes from their house. Okay. When you take the biggest net worth creation mechanism out of a working family's portfolio and you tell them you got nothing else. And this is on top of them eliminating pensions. This is top about giving us shitty 401k plans with too many fees in it. The Christmas Club account they churned into our retirements. And go back to the American Dream was killed in 1977 essay. I show you the data. Capitalism worked for 15 years. Beautifully. Beautifully. Then it went all south, and then it started to drop like a rock as soon as we got into the financialization period, which was actually started by Clinton, and I started by Reagan, made worse by Bush, W. Bush, and then finalized by Clinton. Because once we got rid of Sarbanes-Oxley and we allowed the financial institutions to intermingle, it cost us trillions of dollars. And almost 3 years of damaged economy. We wiped out 3 years of growth over the housing fiasco and the credit crisis, all because Congress took bribes, campaign donations. They're fucking bribes, and they changed the laws to allow wealthy people to make money from themselves using other people's money. It's the best game in the world. You can get away with it. OPM. Make yourself wealthy, not on your assets, on other people's assets. So I don't know where on earth, given where the economy is, given what political party has the mojo right now, what that party thinks about working Americans. We suck. Okay. And this is one thing I've noticed that some of my professional neighbors are figuring out. The agreed professionals, the lawyers, the doctors. Yeah, they all look at me like I'm the weirdo because I'm the techie who never went to college and I live in their neighborhood. But yeah, they're figuring out that they're not going after the plumbers and the carpenters and the people who work at Piggly Wiggly. Everybody's got a target on their back now. They're insatiable in their wealth grabbing. And the professionals, again, doctors, lawyers, accountants, they know it's their turn in the barrel too. They know it's coming. And to hear them admit it, I'm just like, you finally woke up. And that's what I mean, like figuring it out for yourself. I love that moment when they go, "Ah, man, I was supporting all this for all this time, and then I realized they're not going to stop. It isn't about pulling off just SNAP payments away from poor moms or ending Meals on Wheels for disabled seniors. They want it all, and they're willing to do anything to grab it. And people around here are finally getting that. Okay, they thought that because at least if they didn't agree with Trumpianism, at least they thought they were above it all. Oh, don't worry, they won't come after me. You are now. Like people don't realize like how much housing prices are going to have to fall to make 50-year mortgages work. And if they fall the rate they would have to fall to get the 50-year note to work, it would be a total panic in the system. So no, you're not getting a tax-free lifestyle. Even thinking that's real for a moment is kind of silly, if not dumb. Okay. But you gotta have to also realize why you're being told that this weekend. Okay. Because before Troy Niles resigned in a notice to the press, he called Trump at the residence first. Okay. They're seriously embarrassed about MGT and her exit. That's kind of a black eye for them because she was the MAGA warrior. Okay. Losing this guy is Trump's pit bull in the House. Trump can do no wrong. Trump is a god in Troy's eyes. Everything Trumps want to do is 100% legal, 100% constitutional, 100% correct, and it can never be questioned. That's Troy Niles. He's leaving Congress to spend more time with his family. No, you want to get the fuck out of town before they refer you to DOJ. Or go public on the details of how you were shaving money off your campaign funds. So, understood why these things come out when they come out. The scheduling is very important and it's very, very intentional. Okay. I am completely losing control of this monster I created. So let me drop on social media how I've just gotten rid of the income tax for people making $120,000 or less. Look over here, squirrel. That's all that's happened. Okay. He's going to lose the tariff case at the Supreme Court. He's losing district court cases all the time. His hand-picked federal attorney has been determined not Elena Haba, Lindsay Halligan. Um, well, Elena Haba and Lindsay Halligan were picked both for the same reason: breast size, not legal capabilities. Again, Trump's a degenerate. Um, so Lizzie Halligan is an illegal attorney. She cannot put her signature on the cases she put her signature on. Those cases are gone. Okay. Comey's statute of limitations is already over. He cannot be refiled on. James can be, but I doubt you'll find a career prosecutor willing to put their name there, especially the way that she presented the case to the grand jury by basically not presenting the real case to the grand jury. Yeah. Halligan will probably lose her law license over what she did in the grand jury. I call my best lawyer friend uh, in the Midwest. Um, I've talked about him before, and I was like, so what are the chances of her getting prosecuted? He goes like, none. He goes, what is the chance of her losing her state bar license in Florida and Virginia? He goes, about 99%. You can't be doing that shit. The state bar ethics committee is going to blow a gasket when they get the letter documenting what she did. She made up an indictment that was not viewed by the grand jury and had the foreperson sign it. That's so bad. That's so incredibly bad. And it plays into, like, even if they refile against James, she's still got the vindictive prosecution argument to play. And I think she's easily going to win that because how badly Halligan acted. Okay. So this is all just illegal, unconstitutional, unethical, unmoral. I mean, again, what do you do? What do they think he's really done for them? Okay, because there's one thing where you kind of get this mythos of patriotism on top of it all, and oh, he's trying to do best for the country. Uh, okay, all right, but that's not the question I'm asking. I'm asking, what has he done for you? Because if you live in a rural county in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Indiana, the Dakotas, you just lost your hospitals because they're defunding them. You just lost all your research money for whatever your problems are in your neck of the woods. He doesn't care. He cares about two things: keeping himself out of prison and making money for himself. Look at what a complete abortion Doge was. Musk's fiasco and fraud. They didn't save $2 trillion. They didn't even save a tenth of that. In fact, some of the reports are saying it is going to be a net loss. Doge cost us money. They didn't save us a dime. He gave them deportation fetish videos. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's authoritarian porn. That's exactly what they're doing. They want to give the evil process that they're doing, and they want to give it the reality TV makeover. Fucking Dr. Phil McGraw, who, by the way, is not even a doctor anymore. He let his license lapse. The dick. He's going completely bankrupt, by the way. Good for him. Yeah. Yeah. He did bankruptcy fraud and got caught. So he's going to lose it all. Good for him. What an asshole. Always didn't like that guy. Don't like anybody in Oprah's circle, including Oprah. Oh my God. Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil. Yeah. Both of them are Oprah's fault. Yeah. I don't want to have never watched her, but I don't even want to know who she is anymore because what a disaster those two are. And she's the one that promoted both of them. The reason those two are celebrities is only because of Oprah. Okay. Now you've got a guy making quack fucking wellness recommendations to replace medicine. And you go to his website, what is he selling? Those same quack recommendations. So yeah, the fetish videos, exactly. Exactly true. And I'll say this again. If you're not white and ICE is around, you better get a live streaming app on your phone. Anybody approaches you in their little battle jammies thinking it's Fallujah, okay, and they want to talk to you, you should have a running camera run. In fact, everybody in your party should turn their phones on and start streaming because it's the video that's pissing off the judge. Yes, they created fetish videos as their little fan base, little tweak. Their little dopamine hit. Okay. But those videos are being included in the cases. Um, any streaming app will do. Most of your social media has live streaming capabilities right now. There's also things where you can get custom apps to go to where you could stream out to your Google Drive and stuff using RTSP and other protocols. I'll make a note and I'll look up and I'll post in this videos if I find any like direct iPhone or Android apps that are just streamers. But I know, like, it doesn't matter what you use as long as the phone is on, it's recording, and it's not recording locally to your phone. Because if they smash your phone, you lose the video. Okay, you're going to spend a ton of money getting the disk out of the phone and getting the video recovered. Okay, so the particular app doesn't matter as long as the phone is recording and streaming where the repository for the video is not on your phone. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I've never had a problem. Even when I wore a blue uniform, I had never had a problem with somebody recording the police. Now, I've asked people politely not to record us when we were on the undercover teams, and we would tell them. Like, it was just a resident, from a nearby house that came out and was like, hey, what's going on? Because we're doing a bust or something. We would just politely, we'd have one of our supervisors just politely go over there and identify himself, badge and ID card. Hey, could you not take pictures, please? Because a lot of these guys, we don't want their identities getting out because, then the bad guys will know. And 99% of the people are totally cooperative in that situation. But if somebody, like, I'm at a traffic stop and somebody whips out a VHS recorder and starts recording me, I don't care. I'm in a public space. I'm a public official. Who cares? Okay. I know they're all cranky about it these days, but the Supreme Court decision says it clearly. You have a right to record the police in public as long as you're not interfering with their duties. So definitely, definitely, definitely record. And where this is going to get interesting in Trump land is, like I said, there's another special election in Tennessee coming up. There's going to be at least a half a dozen or more resignations that are going to be somewhere between now and end of term. You're already seeing the polls shift. So what's going to happen? Dear leader is going to feel like he's a caged animal. He's stuck. Because if the House flips, either before the midterms or after, he's toast. And he knows it. Okay. Now, one of the interesting things is going to be is for his own self-preservation. I have to check Polymarket, and irishbookie.com, the betting sites. Who he's going to can to save his own ass and try to make himself look better before the midterms. And I think number one on the hit list is Pete Hegseth. I think he's gone. I think his name has already been tacked to a card, first to go. He is an embarrassment. Okay. Like, I was having this conversation with my father-in-law, the retired Green Beret, and a bunch of other my friends who are veterans. None of us like the guy. All of us think he's a jerk off. I mean, a true jerk off. Like, would not take him seriously. I didn't care what your rank was. And it's not like this guy would have ever made colonel or general. No fucking way. No fucking way. Because major for the commission officers, that's your parking rank. Yeah, you're good enough not to be dangerous, but we don't consider you a senior leader. So a lot of people will do 15, 20 years, sometime even retire as an 04 major because nobody above them will promote them. Happens to enlisted too at staff sergeant level. I knew a lot of people in the Army that were staff sergeants and they had 18 years in because nobody would promote them up to platoon leader. They just didn't have it. Okay. For a different reason, I worked directly with the warrant officers and CID, and for a different reason in CID, usually because the special agent kind of marches to his own drummer. You see a lot of CW3s with a lot of time in. They're never making 4 or 5. Never. Except was like that with Major and almost all my friends, whether they're American military, Canadian, German, whatever. They're all like, yeah, yeah. There was no fucking way this guy was seeing Colonel or Brigadier. He doesn't have the acumen. He doesn't have the common sense. He doesn't have the decorum. Like the way he speaks, like it's just so frat boy, boisterous bullshit. Like another one of the family friends, he's a colonel in the Green Berets. He's one I told you about the other day. Was in Colombia when they shot Pablo Escobar. He was standing on the street when they whacked him. The Colombian military police whacked him. One of the most stoic men I've ever met in my damn life. Every command sergeant major I ever worked with, including my father-in-law, again, stoic AF. Hegseth bounces off the walls over trivial shit. That's not how leaders act. Okay? A good leader always stays composed, always remains direct and honest, is always forthright with their subordinates. And you don't threaten anybody unless you absolutely have to. And even as a sergeant, I didn't pull rank when I worked with the teams. I mean, we're all on first name basis with the officers we worked with. Okay. But, a couple of times, like when I'm doing an instruction at the range or something, and one of the guys on my team give me shit, I do this. I have 3 stripes. You don't listen. Okay. I don't threaten them. I'm not telling them, oh, I'm going to go tell our team chief on you. You're just going to listen to me because I have stripes and you don't. But you never do the shit like that meeting with the command sergeant majors and the generals. Oh, that was embarrassing. My father-in-law hated it. It's like, hey, don't you ever speak to me like that. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? And I guarantee you, there was never a general who spoke like that to the command sergeant major. Like I literally watched how officers treated him when we were together in Baccarat, West Germany. Okay, they treated him with ultimate respect. Yeah, the major general, the division commander, always treated command sergeant major with total respect. Even when our major general was mad, he would raise his voice. Like he told one of our troops he screwed up and told it directly, and you don't want to be yelled at it by a 2-star general. You just don't. You just don't. He told him very forcefully because he did a protocol screwed up, and the general saw it, and the general was upset. But it wasn't like a ballistic chew out or something like that. He just walked up very sternly with a very strong voice and said, "You will never do that again." And the only answer to that is yes, sir. Yes, general. Okay. Never seen anybody act like Hegseth. I couldn't imagine, like, our lieutenant colonel, our regional commander in CID. I couldn't imagine her treating anybody like that. And like nowhere in the neighborhood like that. That's how bad this guy is. So yeah, I think his name's already written on a card, poked onto the little board. And well, if we have to pull the trigger and we have to change the news cycle, because the polling is not going in their favor. The polling is going completely opposite Magaland right now. So when these people start leaving Congress en masse, they start seeing what the layout is in the House, plus what will happen after the midterms. some of the early predictions from it's way too far out to get any reasonable polling. So don't believe anything as fact now. Mathematically, it's too much of a projection. We can get a general idea of how things are going, but just don't take them as gospel. That's not statistically possible at this point. You got to get about 6 months in. I mean, I'm sorry, 6 months out from the election to even start to make sense of the numbers and say, hey, that's what's really happening. But I think the changes in the House and the changes to the way people are treating dear leaders' policies are going to dramatically change before the midterm elections. So he's going to have to start pulling some strings to get the attention he wants, because there's too much over his head. His health is horrible. He looks terrible. I was so happy when I saw my father-in-law on Thanksgiving. He looks so great. He's he's 5, 6 years older than Trump. Looks beautiful, man. Sharp as a tack. We talked about so many things. He's still clear of mind. He looks good. Super thin. He's been eating well. Going out on the golf course, getting his little exercise. Love it. I don't see that in Trump. I see Trump as a very, very aged man who's falling away very quickly. Okay. Then you got the Epstein files, which again, he's in. No way around that. Okay. And I don't care how much overtime you paid at the FBI. If you think you're going to stop Trump's name in the details of what happened from coming out, I think you live in fantasy land. Because anybody who assumes there's only one copy, I don't think is thinking through this problem space very well. There's more than one copy. Talked about that the other day in the live video. Why do you think Andrew got fired the way he did? Andrew didn't just get fired. He got shit canned. You know why? MI6 showed up in King Chuck's office. King Chuck opened up the briefcase and went, "What the fuck?" And then called his chief or his aide de camp or his chief of staff or whatever and said, "I need to meet with Prince Andrew." He didn't call him his brother. He said, "I need to meet with Prince Andrew because I have two choices: shoot him or fire him." He chose he chose the latter. He even fired his ex-wife. So wow, I am very high confidence that there's more than one copy. And I'm also of high confidence if they don't release the files, the victims will talk. And the victims will name names. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of very bullshitty things that go on between now and the election. And it's all going to be about CYA covering his ass as hard as he freaking can because he's dug a hole so goddamn deep. And I think the economy is also going to be a problem. I think when they get the numbers back online and people start mapping the missing data, because June, the congressional shutdown. Yeah, we blew all the job numbers. Nobody collected them. We don't know. That's not good. You can't you can't run the world's largest economy without any fucking data. And I'm telling you that as a data engineer. You can't run any big system without data. Never mind the world's largest economy. Okay. And the data for that shutdown period is toast. It's not there. I looked, I checked, it's not there. Okay. We're going to have to use the ADP number. We're going to have to use some of the private assessments and polling, and it's still not going to be as accurate as the way the government usually does it. But when we go back to doing it the good way, the regular way, and we start seeing the November, December numbers, and we map through that missing period, because you can map through missing data sets. You just got to put a big asterisk on it and be ethical and tell them that this is a projection because we're missing the data at that time. I've had to do that before. For a variety of reasons. So once they map through that data and they see, hey, jobs suck, affordability still sucks. Okay. No, you're not getting a tax break. In fact, your taxes are going to go up after a short period in the BBB where your taxes are a little bit of a break. Once again, they made all the tax cuts permanent for themselves and gave a big fuck to you, to anybody working for a paycheck. Okay, so all this is building up on him. Okay, that's why people are leaving Congress. It isn't to go back home and spend more time with their families. This isn't a principled response to bad things that Trump is doing. No. You can't be a 10,000 time Trump supporter, 10,000% Trump supporter like Troy Niles here, and then tell me that, oh, this is a principled decision and I need to go back home and be with my family. No, you supported everything to the nth degree that he even suggested, no matter how cray cray it was, or how off the chart and how unrealistic it was. If dear leader said it, you loved it. But now you have to go spend more time with your family. No, you want to get the hell out of town before the fire starts. Because when it starts going down, because when there's a political reality, okay, when the Democrats get hold of the House again, they're going to use the ethics committee very harshly. I'm not disagreeing with that at first order, at least. Okay, but they're going to very harshly use the ethics committee because you have a lot of people on the GOP side of the house have been doing a lot of ugly shit. Do you want to be there when they open up the case on you? Because if you're not there, more very likely, unless you do something royally stupid and absolutely criminal, they're probably going to skip your name and go to somebody who's still in the house that they can fuck with. Because they're gonna want to fuck with somebody. Okay. Because that's how politics works. Whether we like it or not, that's immaterial. It's just going to happen that way. So Trump's going to get more ornery. He may even try to do something really stupid, far worse than he's doing now. But the more he does it, the more that chance, that number of people leaving the house before or after the or at the end of the term, he just makes that problem worse. Are people going to sit by and watch you drive the entire one of only two major political parties in this country, and you're going to drive one of them straight into the dirt, and it's going to take you 10 years to rebuild it? Because if the numbers are slipping in Texas and Florida, they've got to be slipping other places. And these special elections are proof that people are pissed, and people on all sides, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, independent, libertarian, nobody likes what's happening right now, and the polling proves it. He just hit a new low, what, 36%. So you will see a grand march toward the door with the single purpose of not getting caught in the crossfire after the midterms. Because will there be crossfire? Fuck yes. You're going to have, if they don't resign, you're going to have one appointee after another of Trump's after the midterm impeached. If Hegseth isn't already gone by the midterms and the House flips like most people expect it's going to flip, if Hegseth hasn't already removed himself or already been fired, he will be gone in the first month of the new House in the new session. Bondi will probably go. Beauvais will go from DOJ. Both got serious problems. Um, Beauvais is even email Beauvais is even worse. Um, email Beauvais as a temporary district lawyer. He told the lawyers in the government law office that they are going to tell the federal courts to go fuck themselves. They're not going to listen to them. Right. If they can prove they actually took action or formed a conspiracy to um, interfere with the courts, you could be facing a whole list of freaking problems. Okay. Uh, Brooke Rollins, Secretary Ag. I'm trying to figure out who's a bigger moron, her or Linda McMahon at Education. Linda McMahon, the woman caught up in a huge sex abuse scandal at her old WWE entertainment business, some of it involving young adults and possibly minors. And she's in charge of public education, which is mostly K through 12 jobs. Yeah, I don't see them surviving the next House session. They will be leaving to spend more time with their family as well. But that's my thoughts. You know, understand why they're leaving Congress. They're not doing it for some altruistic purpose or some principled reason. They're getting out of town. Okay. They don't want the stench on them. So they're going to go back home, telling everybody back in their district what a hero they were in Washington. When really they're trying to avoid a very least case scenario, avoid a very embarrassing censure by the ethics committee or a very expensive legal fight with the Department of Justice in facing criminal charges. That's why a lot of these people are going to go. Okay. And once no problem is solved under the second term of dear leaders mania and bullshit, then you're finally going to see the majority of people that you're always going to have some cult members who won't wake up. I'm sure there's a few Moonies still around. Okay. There's at least one guy from Heaven's Gate still around because he got left behind to do the website. That's how you know you're in a completely fake land in the universe. You were sold for 12 years how the comet is hiding the alien ship, and you're all going to go to this alien paradise that's futuristic, and all disease is cured, and da da da. All these wonderful things going to happen, and they leave your ass behind to do the website in Los Angeles. The site's still up. I checked a while ago, but yeah, the changes are coming. We've been talking about that the last couple of times, and it's really important that we vet better candidates. We know and we're well informed on those important issues. Um, you know, when you see a good article, take the time and read it. When you see an expert talking about a subject, you know, read it. If somebody pulled the data, get to it because just don't go into the voting booth based on personality. That obviously does not work for us. You need one, two, three issues minimally that are just your big issues. Okay. But know them well. And when you go to the town halls, when you get on the Zoom meetings with the candidates and ask questions, well, first ask questions. Okay. And ask salient questions. Okay. Are you willing to change the War Power Act before we have another Trump who's just going to make up a war against China because he lost an election to Biden, or he's going to attack Venezuela thinking that he can eliminate cocaine and fentanyl by attacking one country? Okay. If this is the reasons we're going to war, and then he goes to the, Fort Bragg and says, 82nd Airborne, invade Boston. Well, if that's the horseshit reasons we're running a expensive military, then we need to change things about the military, and we definitely need to change the War Powers Act. Okay. One issue I will definitely talk about is taxes. What I want to know what their ideas on taxes are, and if it's a do nothing attitude, I don't want to hear about it. If it's just another tax credit, I don't want to hear about it. I want to know how we're going to reform the whole tax code. My suggestion: take the 4,000 pages of tax code, burn it, and replace it with about 10 pages that describe a flat tax and a dollar is a dollar. Another issue, because I know it's important to me. It's important as a privacy issue, as a family issue, as a family planning issue. Um, I will ask every candidate, no matter what their stripe is, are you going to get off your high pious horse and get off women's back over healthcare? Okay. It's not your choice. It's not it's our privacy. It's our choice. It's not the government's choice. It's medical care in every single state medical board in the union. I don't need a bunch of pious brat Christians, Christian nationalists telling me what happens to me or my family when we go to the doctor. Okay. Because guess what? The vaccine thing under RFK is proving they'll tear down our whole healthcare system and they'll call it reform. Okay. Is medicine medicine? That's a great question for a candidate this midterm coming up. Is medicine medicine? Or are we going to listen to dickheads like Dr. Oz and RFK more? Are women citizens that can make their own decisions, that can go to a doctor by themselves? Or are we Afghanistan? Because you know what? You love Israel. And guess what? Abortion is completely legal in Israel. Oh, and Israel is almost French socialist in their maternity program. They help mothers 9 ways from Sunday. Okay, just like the French do. The French will literally send somebody over to your house to help you do housework and do your laundry if you've got the little bambino you got to take care of and you're falling behind or you're stressed or whatever. They'll send somebody out to help you. Okay. Israel is the only rich country that still has a healthy fertility rate. Why? They socialize the crap out of the care. They give a gigantic social safety net to moms and babies. That's why they're the only industrialized country with a fertility return rate of over 2.1. If you don't have 2.1 births per female per lifetime, you don't have a replacement generation. Japan's problem right now. They're running out of people. South Korea. It's abysmal in South Korea. South Korea is 0.7 right now. That means they're losing half their population less than a generation. Okay. Are we going to take care of women? All you nationalists want us to have more babies as a society. Are you actually going to help young women? Or are you just going to scream at them? If something goes wrong with their pregnancy, you're going to let them die in the parking lot, or are you going to give them medical care? And our healthcare is not a politician's decision. Our private medical decisions are personal decisions or they're family decisions. It doesn't go any further. Except in the rarest of cases where, you got some weird stuff going on, you know, maybe a lawyer will get involved or a doctor panel will get involved because of something weird. But large supermajority of the time, it's a private family decision. Okay. Dear candidate, are you going to allow us to have medical privacy? That includes women's medical privacy. If you want us to have more children, are you going to do anything about the affordability of having children? So I raised 3 kids, plus put them all through college without student loans. Kids are fucking expensive. Expensive, expensive, expensive. Now, fortunately, I don't mind spending the money or spending the money on their college. I'm going to work 10 more years. Okay, I'll be okay. Okay. But I also realize having those 3 children cost me more than $150,000 a piece. You just demand and scream at people, have more babies because we're all Christian nationalists. How do you pay for the kids? The only countries that have a wild amount of kids, like four, five, six, as a fertility rate, they're all poor countries. They're still agrarian economies. They still need the kids to help with the farm or the family business. Every industrialized country, except Israel, is near the is near that 2.1 line all the way down to South Korea. That's in a very dangerous place at point 0.7. So ask real questions. No real topics. Ask real questions. Okay. Ask why public schools are being taken over by a neo-Nazi group called Turning Point USA or Moms for Liberty. Because if they're asking that in Minnesota, I saw that video on social media the other day. Mom stands up, identifies as an old Reaganite conservative. She gets up and asks, "What the fuck is Turning Point USA doing in our high school? It sounds like a Hitler Youth program." Her words, not mine. And she's right. And if you're not on the right side of the center, um, just never lose sight that there's a difference between a conservative and a nationalist. Okay. And some of the conservatives are waking up and realizing you have to separate those two. Okay. It's like separating liberals from communists. Okay. Most of my friends are liberal, capital L liberals. This went out to Robert Plant Constantine, one of my great friends. We've been friends for almost 30 years now. He's a musician and a recording engineer. Um, we love music. We love hanging out. We go to shows all the time together. Um, he's super, super, super liberal. Okay. I don't see that as a personal fault. Okay. I'm kind of center left a little bit. I told you about the grad test, point 0.1 center left. Um, I don't see a problem with straight up liberal thinking, especially when you think about it in a Locke prospect, liberal versus illiberal. And my problem is illiberal. Authoritarianism, whether it comes in the form of Nazism on the far right, or communism, or gangster, whatever the hell's going on in Russia now. It's like a gangster petrol state. I don't know if you really can. I don't think it's really communism anymore, but it ain't sane either. And it's still illiberal as all get out. Like all these right wing idiots who get on TikTok and say, "I'm moving to Russia." Then they move to Russia and they realize to leave the city you live in, you need a passport. You can go to jail for 6 months by getting caught by the police in another city without a passport. Imagine you living in Camden, New Jersey, and you decide to go to New York City for a show and dinner, and you get arrested because you didn't have a passport to be in New York City. That's real life in Russia. Right? So yeah, just don't stay away from authoritarianism. Stay away from the fringes. There's no sanity there. There's no purpose there. We don't gain anything. We lose everything. Like take communism. Mao killed more people than both great wars combined. Mao is the biggest homicidal maniac of all time. That includes Genghis Khan. And that was his big communist remake of China. How do we get communism to work in China? Kill anybody who doesn't agree with communism. And they did. Stalin killed more people than the Nazis. And they were all his own people. Okay. So stay the fuck away from those things, will you? If your kids start looking at that shit, give them a little whack behind the ear. Don't abuse them. Don't get violent. But just like, hey, what are you doing? Well, not good. Then show them why it's not good. Explain it to them why it's not good. I'm just so happy. I've told this to my father-in-law. I've told this to my wife. I told this to a bunch of people. I would literally not know what to do if my two sons or my daughter, my eldest, were involved in any way with the bullshit of today. That's far right bullshit or far left bullshit, gambling, especially the shit on the phone, turning every phone into a casino, Bitcoin, just stupid, empty gambling. There's no purpose to Bitcoin. It's all bullshit. There's kind of a purpose to the ledger, and the ledger is kind of interesting and as a technical thing. We talked a lot about it in engineering talks, um, because ledgers are used for and tracing is used for a whole bunch of purposes. And ledger is kind of like logging, but kind of like ownership level tracking of logging, which is actually kind of a cool idea. But it's a baseless investment vehicle. It's an unregulated penny stock at best. Okay, I don't know, and the racism, the hatred, the tribalism, and it's all tribalism. That's the parent of the pyramid. All your other isms come underneath tribalism. Okay, because this is one of the things that the red hat rubes haven't figured out for themselves yet. Let's say they do get rid of all the black and brown people they don't like, and all the Native Americans they don't like, and they import all white racist South Africans and Norwegians dumb enough to leave their own country. Because if you lived in Norway, why the fuck would you want to live here? Your quality of life is better in Norway unless you're super rich. Here, I mean, and the expense you would have to pay extra to live a Norwegian lifestyle in the United States would be really expensive. So he moves everybody he wants in. Okay, let's just for a thought experiment for a second. We have the white ethno state that Trump and Hegseth always have dreamed about. Do you think their bullshit stops with the racism? No, it doesn't. They will find another group and they will find them damn fast because their entire playbook of authoritism is somebody is out to get you and only I can save you. Okay? So I can't be, I can't be out there without an enemy. That blows my whole premise of why you need me as a dear leader, why you need a dictator minded person in charge, because there's an unsurmountable threat out there that you can't handle on your own, and only I can help you. Okay. When everybody starts leaving Congress, that facade's going to fail pretty quick, isn't it? They'll just pick somebody new, just the way the Klan did in 1920s when they wanted to move up to the Midwest to become a political party. They couldn't play the White Knights of Mississippi. That doesn't play in Indiana and Illinois. So they had changed their attack vector. Who did they go after? The Irish. They declared that the Irish, the Italians, the Greeks, and the Turks were non-whites and didn't deserve home ownership and other benefits of a normal American society. Yeah. So you could work and spend trillions of dollars creating your white ethno state. All you buying is another problem. There's no out to it. Okay. So think about it. If you have some questions or some follow-ups, you put them in the comments. We can chat about it. I do appreciate everybody's support. Gotten a lot of subscriptions lately. Really, really like that. That's really cool. Um, appreciate the likes. Appreciate the subscriptions. Like I said, I'm just trying to pass on some opinions and some data and some well-informed facts. Not trying to think for you. Not trying to be a politician. I just want you to have better information than what you normally get on the bad parts of social media or crappy news stations, whatever. I'm just asking you, until next time, think about it. Put it in your bailiwick. Hopefully we can figure something out and make things better going forward. Okay? So thanks for being here. We'll chat again soon.